So this past April, Bev and I celebrated 44 years of marriage, and it was just an occasion once again to reflect on what a miracle our marriage is, what a gift of God's mercy. So I think the first year of marriage actually was pretty good. I think that, we were both kind of through engagement, on our game, realizing we've got to be, really want to be initiating toward each other, talking through conflicts as they come up, giving each other help as well as room to work through our own fallenness, even as we adjust in marriage. I think things went south beginning year 2 as she was working through the stuff related to her abuse. I often was the butt end of it. In those days, the church grew in the first few years of our marriage from about 50 people to 1,000 people. So I was pretty much exhausted most of the time those next 4 years. I remember I had one night a week to be home, and I would fall asleep sometimes at the dinner table on that one night. So I'm sure that communicated a message that was not good at all to Bev. So
about 5 years in, we both talk not in an angry, fighting way, but is there hope for this marriage? And, can we really make this work? And the only problem I had to solve was how could I divorce him without him losing his job as a pastor? Because I didn't want him to have to, ruin his life calling because I couldn't get it together to be married. But when things really came to a head, like Gary was saying, and people were talking to us, I'll never forget my friend Holly coming to me and apologizing for giving up trying to confront me and rebuke me. She could have said, it was your fault that I gave up, because it was my fault. I wasn't listening to anyone. But she came knowing the shape we were in, and she modeled for me seeing her part, and she apologized for not confronting me sooner, and that really began to soften my heart to see that, I can confess my sin, and I can begin to own my part. I think God spoke to each one of us, and God said, where are you going to find the kind of love you're really looking for, except in this marriage and in this church? And there was a profound repentance.
It was fascinating because, you would think that at a point like that we would be mainly focused on what the other person was going to apologize to us about. But we were both so focused, and again, it was responding to God's influence. We were both so focused on how we had contributed to our problems that we were literally almost tripping over each other to apologize. I remember several conversations, just like, I would say, I'm so sorry for the way that I have withdrawn from you. And she'd be like, yeah, but what I'm really going to communicate to you is, and so it was amazing. I would say to people who are fighting for their marriage, fighting in their marriage, wondering, is it all worth it? A couple of things. One is that it is worth it. And I can't quantify what my life would have been if our marriage has ended, but it's so clear to me that the richness of my life, moving outward from our marriage, is there's no way that I could calculate what that other course would have been. And I would say, go to God. God met us at that during that time. He met us at the critical point. And it's one thing to have that in your theology, that God supports our marriage, and it's another to go to Him personally in the crunch time and go to Him in humility, saying, open my eyes to see the things that you want to change in my life. Because He is a very present help in exactly those things. Because He's more committed to our marriage than we are. I mean, there's no way ours would have survived if He hadn't been more committed to it than we were. Yeah, and now we have a little bit more time in our schedules, and we're around each other quite a bit more than we used to be. And those besetting sins, those idiosyncrasies, as fallen people, they're still there. But just the realization that we can continue to become more and more of a team, more and more a one. It's a wonderful thing.